Hello, Earthbound fans. My name is Ben Sleva, and I will be your host for today's episode. And speaking of today's episode, know that this contains spoilers for the end of Earthbound and Mother 2. If you found this video before watching the other 20 plus in the series, then stop this, watch those others, and come back when you're all caught up. I don't want to ruin anything for you. All good? Last time, we left our main protagonist, Ness, after he had absorbed all the powers of the 8 sanctuary locations. With that power, he was given a massive stat boost, and he's now ready to fight and defeat the evil that has mysteriously been taking over his world. Waking up surrounded by his friends, they inform us that Ness was muttering about needing to go to Saturn Valley. Without having to leave the cave, we are transported to Saturn Valley and prepare ourselves for the endgame. It's there we find Dr. Andonuts, Apple Kid, Mr. Sandard, and the Miner, for some reason, gathered around a device of sorts. Dr. Andonuts tells us that the first device, the Phase Distorter, was stolen by a pig wearing human clothes, presumably he's talking about Porky. They have since built a second machine, which is now in front of us. As we get close to the machine and climb in, we quickly realize that the machine isn't working properly. Dr. Andonuts tells us that in order for the machine to work, we need to get a material that is not found on Earth. He says the material needed is something he found as a young boy, a material that came directly from a meteorite. Unless we know of any meteorite nearby, then the entire mission is doomed. Lucky for us, our narrative is coming full circle, because it just so happens that a meteor crashing is exactly what made us start our hero's journey. Zexonite is material in question, and we're almost ready to go get it. Before heading to a net, stop by the shop and see what they're offering. Now they have a flame, rain, and night pendants. They'll all come in handy. But if you get an earth pendant, which protects 50% of each elemental rather than 100% of each, then go that route. Also, now is a great time to unload any items you don't need. Sell what you can and escargo express the remaining items. Once you're happy with what you're carrying, teleport to Onet and make the trip to the top of the mountain. You'll find some top tier baddies here, so look out. You'll find the Evil Eye, his Glarican Diamond Eyes, so take care of him as quickly as you can with your strongest PSI freeze. His Mechanical Octobot, this shifty foe can swipe an item if you're not careful. Show it that no crime goes unpunished. And Ghost of Starman, this neon pink glowing spirit holds Paula's strongest ribbon. The ribbon is the Goddess Ribbon. There is once again a 1 in 128th chance of being dropped, so try it at your own risk. Avoid any enemies you can, or use this opportunity to grind. Remember to stop and give your mom a hug before you finish your journey, because moms worry. She'll also heal you. At the top of the mountain, check the meter to get your Zexonite, then immediately step into a clearing and use PSI Teleport Beta and go to Dalam. It is here that you will stock up on brain food lunches. Fill your inventory with them. Spend the money on it. Spend all of it. They cost $800 a piece, and you probably have 100 grand, so don't hold back. From there, zip off to Deep Darkness if you'd like to stock Jeff up with some multi-bottle rockets, and then settle back at Saturn Valley, where you will buy a good amount of Horns of Life. Trust me, you will need them later. Give Dr. Andonuts the Zexonite, and he'll have you rest while they fix it. The next morning, talk to Dr. Andonuts again, and he'll tell you that the Phase Distorter 2 is ready to go. But first, you'll need to be absolutely sure that you're ready to go. Once you climb aboard, there is no coming back. If you're sure you're ready for the end, climb on in. The Phase Distorter will take you to the Lost Underworld, where a concentration of enemies has been detected. In this little bit of Earth surrounded by an abyss, you'll encounter Pooh's trainer, who will quickly teach him Starstorm Omega. Following the path, you will find the remains of the first Phase Distorter. Check it for an additional Horn of Life. Explore the area until Dr. Andonuts, Apple Kid, and Mr. Saturn show up with the Phase Distorter. They'll inform you that Giygas is attacking from this exact same spot that they're standing, but from the past. The only way to get him is to take the Phase Distorter 3, but there is a catch. Some might say it's the ultimate catch. This model of Phase Distorter can't transfer organic material. Your body can't be sent. Only your spirit can make the trip. And of course, there's a big chance that you won't be able to return once you're sent. Are you ready? Either you accept your fate or prepare for the Earth's destruction. Luckily, we choose to fill the shoes of the chosen ones and go headfirst into the abyss. Ness pushes the button to start the Phase Distorter 3, and the process begins. After some time, you arrive in the Cave of the Past. Give yourself a minute to take in the surroundings. We're in a place like we've never seen before. The Phase Distorter you came out of will be your healing unit and save place from now on. Note that you cannot return to any previous location. You're in the Cave of the Past until you defeat Giygas, baby. You'll have a beefy amount of enemies in the screens to come. Let's go over them. There is the Bionic Kraken. Make sure to equip the Franklin badge and watch your HP counter. A win could yield a rare Gutsy Bat. Final Starman. He is the last of the long line of Starmen. Counter his strong PSI attacks with a PSI shield. Ghost of Starman. This neon pink glowing sprite holds Paula's strongest ribbon. Nuclear Reactor Robot. Though its fuel replenishment is quite an annoyance, take care of it last, unless you want a face full of shrapnel. Squatter Demon. A single bite from this foe can poison or dynamize. Tread lightly. An Ultimate Octobot. A thief and master of electric slide. Just watch you don't get paralyzed by it. And there you have the wild and woolly Shambler. Watch for its PSI Shield Beta. It can make for a hairy battle. Of all of them, the Nuclear Reactor Robot, Ghost of Starman, and Final Starman pose the greatest threat. The Nuclear Reactor Robot explodes upon defeat, dishing out a large amount of damage to one or two party members. The Ghost of Starman can use PSI Sandstorm Alpha, while Final Starman possesses PSI Sandstorm Omega, along with PSI Healing Omega, meaning he can revive fallen enemies. It really is best to use physical attacks against these enemies, just so you can save your PP for the boss battle. The map is a straight path that takes you through 3 portions. The first is the butterfly area that's typically near this cutout area, and the second area has a butterfly where the path gets wide. Despawn any enemies that you can, because you'll need all the energy you have. I've always been blown away about how strong this dungeon area is. It's teeming with enemies, and it's a long haul. If you don't think you'll be able to make it with all 4 characters in good standing, then head back to the beginning, start fresh, heal, continue on. If you're lucky enough, you'll make it all the way to the mouth of Giygas' lair. Consider yourself quite lucky. You've survived the first phase of the boss, and we're on to the hard part. Enter Giygas' lair and buckle in. You're about to be scared. The entire floor heaves and pulses as if alive, and the only sound to be heard is a steady, labored breathing. Before going on, have Pooh life up everyone to max HP, and use brain food lunches to max everyone's PP. Then, trek through this area, and ultimately you'll reach the focal point of the membrane, a single eye device. With a shudder, the entire screen heaves and the eye dilates, revealing a face, Ness's face, only with a blue cap. Porky teleports from above, encased inside of a spider mech apparatus, and descends upon you. He speaks of the prophecy foretold by the Apple of Enlightenment and speaks of the very nature of Giygas. No longer is he the wielder of evil, but the evil power made manifest. Before we go over strategy, let's go back and see just what made Giygas become this powerful. A quick side note, we're only going over what happens in Earthbound and Mother 2. We're not talking about beginnings, we're not talking about Mother 3. Known as the embodiment of evil and the universal cosmic destroyer, Giygas is an evil alien who, upon failing his original mission to reclaim the knowledge of PSI from humans, intends to sentence all of reality to the horrors of infinite darkness. With an army of starmen, Octobots, and other deadly machines, Giygas also uses his immense power to influence certain Earthlings to assist him, such as Porky and Monotoli. His influence has caused animals and people to become violent and distressed. He belongs to a race of aliens who originally had the power of PSI. 10 years in the future, Giygas has taken over Earth and sent it all into darkness. To stop him, one of the only beings who managed to escape destruction in the future, an alien insect named Buzz, travels back to 1990X. Buzz warns Ness of the impending catastrophe. Giygas discovers the Apple of Enlightenment, which prophesizes his defeat at the hands of Ness, and so he travels back into the past in order to stop Ness. Now, wielding a vast cosmic power which he is unable to control, Giygas becomes a threat to the existence of the universe itself. In Porky Minch's words, he is the evil power. Due to the loss of his mind, Giygas becomes irrational and incapable of thought. To rectify this, Porky seals him in the devil's machine so that his power would be contained and his mind kept intact. It is here, contained in the devil machine, that we come face to face with Giygas for the first time. And because he is in this form, he is completely invincible. Don't even try to hit him, his shields would deflect your attack. He also is fond of PSI Rocket Alpha and Beta. So Paul created a Psychic Shield Sigma, the one that absorbs psychic powers, but doesn't reflect attacks. To best this form of Giygas, the key is to focus on Porky. Have Jeff use any remaining multi-bottle rockets on Porky, and the heavy bazooka if you don't have any. Paula and Pooh will dish out their best freeze attacks, and Ness should try paralysis, which occasionally will work on him. Occasionally, Porky will tear into you, dealing a good deal of damage, but other than that, his only attack is a stinky gas that lowers your offense. Once you've done 1,746 damage to Porky, he will make the fatal mistake of turning the devil's machine off to reveal Giygas' true form, a swirling red mass in the universe. Porky does a good job defying the situation. So isn't this terrifying? I'm terrified too. Giygas cannot think rationally anymore, and he isn't aware of what he is doing now. His own mind was destroyed by his incredible power. What an almighty idiot. That's what he is, and you'll just be another meal to him. In this phase of the battle, his attacks are random and incomprehensible, and his speech is erratic and mindless. Multi-bottle rockets don't work on Giygas, so use the heavy bazooka. Have Ness use PSI Rock and Omega. It'll fail sometimes, but that's okay. He should also heal people as needed. Pooh should use Brain Shock, and then attack with Starstorm Omega. Paula should use Freeze Omega as well. Giygas will unleash a strange attack that you cannot grasp. This attack takes a form of a purple shockwave, and you will have one of 3 effects. It'll either be PSI Freeze Beta attack against all characters, PSI Flash Omega attack that'll probably paralyze or kill anyone who isn't properly equipped, or PSI Thunder Beta attack. Just keep hacking away until Porky reappears to taunt you. When Porky returns, he'll say, "You must really be at the end of your rope. In this bizarre dimension, you 4 are the only force fighting for justice. And there you stand, waiting to be burned up with all the rest of the garbage in this universe." That's so sad. I can't help but shed a tear. You know, my heart is beating incredibly fast. I must be experiencing absolute terror. Do you want to scream for help here in the dark? Why not call your mommy, Ness? Say, "Mommy, Daddy, I'm so frightened. I'm going to wet my pants." I know you have telepathy or something, so just try and call for help. You pathetic weak heroes of so-called justice. No one will help you now. Don't worry, your pitiful suffering will be over soon. A new form of Giygas is now on screen. A face is more recognizable, but still hard to make out. At this point, you can attack as much as you'd like. No matter how much damage you do, though, it won't matter. No physical or PSI attack will be able to do proper damage. The only thing now that will help the fate of the universe is Paula's prayers. Like Porky suggested, we must ask for help. The innocent damsel in distress and Ness's first friend has been holding a superpower in her arsenal this entire time. Have everyone else in the party defend or heal, but have Paula pray. First, you'll see your friends from Saturn Valley appear. They'll have an overwhelming feeling that they've never felt before, and they'll start praying. Keep continuing this process, defend and heal, and have Paula pray. Next, our good pals, the Runaway 5, will feel something stop them, and they'll begin to pray for Ness and his friends. Defend and heal, and Paula prays. Paula's father thinks that he hears his daughter's voice somewhere in the void of existence, and her whole family will pray for their safety. Defend and heal, as Paula prays. It's now Tony's turn to sense his friend. His anxiety makes him pray for the safety of Jeff and his friends. Defend and heal, Paula prays. Giygas continues to writhe in pain, or is he feeling good? Paula's prayers reach Dalam, and Pooh's family and friends come together to pray for the well-being of Pooh and his friends. Giygas is becoming more erratic, and his power is being drained, or amplified. There's only nonsense now. Suddenly, Paula's prayers fall upon Frank Fly, our first real opponent. He stops what he's doing and prays for the well-being of his old friend. Defend, heal, and let Paula pray. The song of the Soundstone echoes through the dark childhood home of Ness as his sister, mother, and pet dog gather. His mother feels uneasy, and she begins to pray for the safety of her son and his friends. Giygas is spiraling quickly. Feeling pain now, his attacks are blindly being launched at our heroes. Defend, heal, and pray. Giygas is too strong. The prayers are being blocked by the absolute darkness that slowly surrounds. Defend, heal, pray. Paula's prayers split the darkness and reach out to someone. A name that's hard to make out. The effects of the praying is now sending needles through Giygas. Tens of thousands of damages of HP is being done by the hopes and prayers of friends we've met along the way. Giygas is reaching the breaking point as his appearance is nothing but red static. The name is now revealed to be us, the player. We've broken the walls between dimensions, and it's our personal prayers that are encouraging the heroes to not give up. Suddenly, Porky appears again, terrified. He knows he's failed. Using his Spider-Mech phase destroyer machine, he runs away into the space between dimensions, disappearing from this world, and we are left completely alone with evil incarnate. But it's too late for Giygas. He was able to control minds, manipulate matter, become what no entity could become, but the power of hope is prevailing. As he collapses upon himself, he is no more. His apocalyptic future is erased. He breaks up and is reduced to nothingness. The heroes have won, and the war against Giygas is over. As we watch the lifeless shells of our heroes lie outside the cave, we know that this isn't the end. The souls, once captured in machines, now drift back to the bodies of our hero children. They weren't just another victim of evil. They'll be able to explore the world that they've saved. The post-game of Earthbound is one of the best there is. You can explore each and every part of the map. Some old allies have new lives, and we still have some old people to talk to. You'll receive letters from friends, and you can even take Paula home to meet your mom, this time without the other guys tagged along. Ultimately, you do need to take Paula home, like you promised so long ago, and you'll have the chance to have Ness explore anything he wants. Get out that old bike again and finally have the chance to enjoy it. Return the book of Overcoming Shyness to the library. Why not? They're done with it. Buy the Onat house if you haven't yet, it's so charming. In Fourside, Monotoli is now an elevator man who's completely back to his old self. While in Fourside, say hello to Aloysius Minch, who is drowning his sorrows in iced cappuccinos at Jackie's Cafe. If you make your way all the way back to Happy Happy Village, you'll see Mr. Carpainter hanging out with the cow. However you decide to spend the last bit of the game is up to you. There are countless more things than you can see, but when you're all done, talk to your mom and begin the big finish. All those fuzzy pickle moments will pay off as you see the photo montage flash on the screen below the credits. And there you have it, guys, a very, very long episode to finish out the series. I truly have had a great time making these videos, mostly because of the friends I've made along the way. Much like the game of Earthbound, it helps me reflect on the parts of my life and the journey we all take. I remember playing through Giygas the first time in my basement as probably a 10-year-old kid in front of my 20-inch CRT television. I know I had the lights off and the entire room was illuminated with a red static, and then suddenly, absolute dark. I still get chills thinking about how cool the payoff was. I'm an endings man. I think the ending of a game is 50% of it, and Earthbound delivered. I think most of us are familiar with the controversy of Giygas' appearance. I'm not really going to get into that, but him representing literal evil was more than any enemy that my little brain could have thought up. I think that's why I love playing the game so much. I feel like I'm personally responsible for saving the world. That might sound silly, but there's a reason I've come back time and time again. I'm not sure what's ahead for me as far as Earthbound videos. These have been quite a time commitment, and I like to take a break from writing weekly scripts. But I hope that you will continue to check out my other Earthbound videos that I've made. There's a slew. Feel free to treat the comments as a Q&A about all the bosses we've gone through, or if you just want to talk about Giygas, I'm cool with that. I hope that I've done the entire series justice, and I hope that you'll be better prepared for the bosses on your next run. Keep throwing the peace signs and saying fuzzy pickles when the cameraman shows up, and don't forget the feeling that you got when you first defeated Giygas. I've been Ben Sleva, your host for the last 7 months, and like always, later days.